Raise your drinks up casually. Raise your drinks up. Raise your drinks up casually. It's the Black Bourbon family.
Hey everyone, I'm Jason.
And I'm Brandy.
And we're the Black Bourbon family.
Today we will be drinking Michter's 10-year bourbon.
Brandy, I have never seen this bottle until recently. I've seen it on the internet. I've seen it on YouTube videos, but I've never even seen it in person. So we have Michter's 10-year. This bottle comes in at 94, I think it's 94.7 proof. This is a very rare, highly allocated bourbon. A little bit of background on Michter's. I'm not going to go into great detail, but Michter's is known to have or to use very high quality products for their bourbons.
Okay.
And they even do things a little differently. So unlike most bourbon companies where the bourbons are barreled at around 125 proof, Michter's lowers their proof to around 105 or maybe 103 proof, somewhere around there.
Okay.
So they barrel their bourbons lower than most. And they have a process of where they warm up the areas where the bourbons are stored, because the fluctuation in temperature helps the bourbon soak into the barrels a little bit more to get that flavor from the barrels and everything. So they just have a unique process of how they do things. And I've tried their US 1 whiskey. I really enjoy that. And it's a lower proof as well. I think that one's around, it's like in the 80s. It's like 85, 86, somewhere around there. But it's very good. And I'm just happy to have this one. And just interested in how it's going to be. You know, we've had a couple of tastes of it just to try to move it past the shoulder to get that true opened up flavor. So let's check it out. All right. Oh, I was about to say cheers. I want to taste it now. It smells good.
It does.
It smells very good.
I mean, I'm getting that spice though.
You getting spice on it?
Yeah.
And see, I'm not getting as much spice on this one. I mean, I'm getting a little bit, but not like heavy spice.
Oh.
I'm getting like caramel. I'm getting the other sweet notes, maybe some maple syrup on it. I get some spice though. I do get spice, but it's not like punch.
Yeah.
Ready? Or you get anything else?
I mean, you said it all.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep, I'm ready.
Right. Cheers. And this has some good legs on it too. I'm looking at the seals. For it to be 94 proof.
I can see that.
Right. I mean, but
Goodness.
yeah, like these legs are crazy.
Wow.
And it has well, you go ahead. Tell me what you think.
Why don't you explain to people what legs mean?
So legs
Just in case they don't know.
Sure. So legs is when you twirl the bourbon around in your glass, and especially when you tilt it a little bit like that, you can see like little streams falling down the glass. And what that, to me, it indicates like how thick or the viscosity or the finish of the bourbon will be. And this one has legs like 120 proof bourbon. It's like really slowly going down and everything. So to me, it seems like it's going to be pretty good finish, which, I mean, you go ahead and tell me what you're tasting, and then I'll go into what I think.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm tasting oak I'm definitely tasting some oak. It's not like real dry from the oak, but I definitely taste that. A little bit of sweetness from like the caramel and some vanilla, and it's not very thick or rich either. So it's I think it's kind of like our other video, Calumet.
Okay.
Like the happy medium, not overly watery and not thick either, which is what I generally like because it brings out a little bit more of the sweetness.
Okay. So to me, I agree with Brandy that I can taste the oak in it, but to me, it actually has a little bit more of bold, what I would say called bolder flavors to it. Like you can taste these different flavors, like the cherry, or not cherry, I'm sorry, like the caramel, the maple syrup that I was mentioning, the oak, and the finish is not as long as I would like expect a higher proof bourbon, but for 94 proof, I can still say that the finish is pretty good, and I'm not getting like a big hug or anything.
Nope.
But you can still taste or feel a little bit of the spice in it, at least for me.
Yeah, just a little bit.
A little bit, right. So I would say this is, definitely a good bourbon, but the question is, and we're gonna do a little test, is a 94 proof, let's just say 95 proof, round it up, is it worth the $125, right? That's always the question. So this is about $125. I forgot to mention that in the beginning. Oh yeah, you know what I forgot to mention?
What?
Give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. And consider subscribing to our Patreon page for as little as $3 a month. Forgot to mention that. All right, so back to this. So the question is it worth, or I shouldn't say worth, because I know that they have a different process. They use high quality products, and that's what they're known for, right?
Right.
Is that you're going to get a very high quality bourbon. And for me, I can taste the quality in this, So, but we're going to compare this one from an age and almost the same proof to something different. And that's going to be McKenna 10 year. So as we know, this McKenna 10 year is around $50, somewhere around there from a price perspective. The proof is 100 proof. It's a bottled in bond, and it's one of Brandy and I's favorite bourbons. I would say Brandy really loves this bourbon, so she may be biased already. But anyway, let's just taste it and compare to the Michters.
Okay.
All right. You want to drink some water real quick?
I'm gonna drink some water.
All right. Because the question is like, okay, we know they use high quality bourbon. It's 10 years, but is the price point at this lower proof, is that really worth the price? So from a nose perspective, I mean, this smells good. I mean, it has the normal bourbon notes that we would expect from it. I think let's just go ahead.
Not too spicy. I don't smell a lot of spice in it.
Yeah, let's go straight to the taste of it. You go ahead first.
I'm gonna say
The biased opinion, y'all.
Slightly thicker than the Michters.
Okay.
And a little bit more sweetness.
Okay. Now, I will agree that it is sweeter than the Michters. What I will say though is it smelled and tasted a little lighter than the Michters to me.
Okay.
Even though this is 100 proof, the Michters have more of a robust taste to it, to me, than the McKenna. Both of them are good. Let's not get, confuse that. But It definitely has that honey. I can taste that honey in it, that caramel a little bit. So the tasting is not much sweeter, but it is sweeter than the Michter's.
It is. And a slight bit heavier.
Michter's is more oak forward. It has a more spice to it, to me, than the McKenna.
You think it has more spice?
I do. I really feel like Michter's has more spice than the McKenna. Mm-hmm.
Oh. Yep.
You see it?
Look, yep.
Yeah, like I can taste that spice in it. Mm-hmm. And then when I go to McKenna, it's lighter. It's good, but it's different. So, okay. You want to go first as far as what would you say, or you want me to go first?
I mean, I would go with McKenna.
Okay.
Just because it has a little bit more of the sweetness that I prefer.
Okay.
And a slight it was a little bit heavier, so which gives it the sweetness that I like. So
yeah,
I would, and I'm sure he's happy that I would go with the McKenna as my choice.
And so I would say, if they were at the same price, I would go with Michter's. Is Michter's twice as better than McKenna? I would say no. Now, I would though say, if you can find the Michter's, I would definitely recommend it because it is a great bourbon. It is very good. It has those bourbon qualities that you really look for, especially for those who enjoy that little bit more spice to it. So I would definitely recommend the Michter's, but from a price perspective only, I would say the McKenna would win out because it's a good bourbon. It's half the price, less than half the price,
Right.
And it's still good as well. But to me, I can still taste the quality in the Michter's. So I would say Michter's is very good. And if it was at the same price, I would pick it up. I know I probably repeated that twice, but
Just want to make sure
I just want to make sure you understand it. So overall, if you see Michter's, get this one. This is actually, I forgot to mention, this is the 2021 version. So this is 21D1204 specifically. That's the barrel number. All right. Cigars, don't forget about me. So today we have the Illusion CG4. This is a Nicaraguan Puro. Very good. I would say this is a medium to medium plus cigar. It's not a full strength in my opinion, but it has notes of leather, some nuttiness to it, some cocoa, and a little bit of cedar, and would be a very good pairing for the Michter's 10, I guess for the McKenna, but this video is about Michter's 10, so we'll say it would be a good pairing for the Michter's 10. I really enjoy this Michter's 10. I do. It is less sweet than say the McKenna, but it's still a great bourbon. And I think you all, if you see it, it's one of those things where you don't see this that often. And if you have an opportunity, it's not like bad where I would just say, nah, it's not worth the purchase,
I would definitely pick it up. Especially since it's, it's not out and it's not that many. And if you see it, get it.
Yep. Well, as we mentioned before, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, consider joining us on Patreon. We thank you for joining, and we will see you next time.
Bye-bye.